Anyone read anything?
One
lately
cup
that
pound
you wanna talk
animal.
about?
Yeah, read comics. Hey, Tiger, you read comics?
No more. Occasionally.
Yeah, we all read
My
stuff.
favorite comic that came out today was Starlight #2 so far that I've read.
New?
I really like #1. That's like I think that's my favorite.
Well,
Mark
then
Millar
you should
story.
read #2 because it was awesome.
No, it's
Now,
not for trade.
these Starlight books have the Millerverse on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is it tying into anything else?
No, because nothing
He's
really
starting-
ties into anything. What
I
he
think-
does,
No, but I mean, if you're
I
gonna
think an
put
image.
that,
I think an image. He's gonna start his life. Like he's taking.
is the Millerverse just what
I think
he's
it's,
writing?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he's
Just for everybody out there too, it's not Millar,
it's Miller.
it's Miller, and he's said it a billion times.
If you say it too many times, his Crohn's gonna act up. And he's gonna give you all
I think he's made himself into
But
a
he can sign here at a
corporation.
time.
his books. He's a fantastic writer. Probably a nice guy. Ain't no
Yeah.
Didio.
Yeah, welcome to France.
There's no mic in front of you, Tony.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tony's talking into his tall boy chorus right now.
He's not responding.
Tony's holding on to the mic now, Tiger's like,
Well, I
Get
have
your fucking shit together.
I have a question for you guys because I picked up a trade of Satellite Sam, which was written by Matt Fraction, art by Howard Chaykin. I read the first issue and really liked it, and the rest of the book seems totally different. Does anyone else have issues with the way Howard Chaykin lays out?
Yes.
I think we
hate
all
him.
do.
Yeah.
I read any book by him.
Yeah,
He's a fantastic writer,
yeah.
but I can't deal with his art.
Exactly. His artwork.
I've read American Flag. That was a that was like a triumph in my
Like
life.
Black Kiss, you know, any of his artwork, I'm just, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of his art.
Yeah.
I would like to be, I'm just not.
And I was just surprised because I thought it was going to be a lot more about TV in the 50s, and it kind of is. But all the covers and everything is just all about these, you know,
Yeah, the covers are not related
all
really
chicks
to
in
the book.
bondage gear.
Yeah, it's all TNA. Well, that's, I mean,
Comics,
you know.
to a degree.
Well, Chicken cut his teeth on Black Kiss when that
Yeah.
came out in the 80s. You know, it was like a
That was
very
all-
risque and adult comic that was
You
on
know what
regular
I
comic
found out
shops.
demographic recently? Xenoscope has one of the highest percentage of female readers in the industry.
Yeah.
And they realize that they might actually start changing some of the covers in the future to be less, his tits.
Yeah.
Look-
Well,
look,
Ebaz is
Rob-
out of a job.
Yeah. Like, hey, look, Robin Hood's saving the day, but she has a string on.
Yeah.
Like, those covers might be gone soon.
Robin Hood
Because
might be a man.
I'll tell you, when I read the
No, the line is
descriptions in previews for a lot of Zenoscope stuff, it looks interesting, and the cover just seems,
A
very...
lot of the books, the ones I've read like here or there, flipped through, aren't terrible. It's just they're the only company that only writes strong female women characters.
But you know,
There's no weakness to there's strong women.
in
for
their
once.
pursuit of being, you know, the
The
company
sexy-
that's showing a lot of TNA.
the sexy company.
Yeah, you know, kind of like, you know, Chaos Books was. But they've ended up becoming something that I don't think they expected to be. But my only problem with that company is, which I mean is true for a lot of comics right now, the cover artist is different from
Yes.
the interior.
Well, they have
a lot of the interior artists have been so,
Mediocre.
yeah.
Yes.
I find
You see a
Dynamite...
beautiful cover by somebody like, you know,
Yeah.
Ebaz, and then
Showers like they get crazy people to do their covers.
Yeah, Campbell.
Campbell does a lot of covers
Yeah.
for them.
if you did an interior, I guarantee they'll sell a lot more books.
Hell yeah, great.
I find Dynamite has had that issue. Although, I've been reading a lot of the #1s for the Gold Key characters that they're putting out, and it seems like they're almost dropping a lot of their pulp characters, like Lone Ranger and Shadow are ending soon.
Lone Ranger's had about like 5 series. That doesn't mean it's going
Yeah.
anywhere.
But it seems like they're putting a lot more stock into like Turok and Magnus and Solar.
Because that's
The
the
Doctor
new
Spider.
books.
Magnus Robot Fighter.
Because they just bought those properties.
So that's Valiant.
It's new,
Yeah.
new toys.
It's
It's
new
not
properties.
Dynamite.
No, Dynamite's
No,
coming out.
those are
Yeah, no,
Dynamite.
They're putting out those new books.
Gold keys. Those are all Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Turok. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Turok
Magnus.
Magnus. They were Valiant
Yeah.
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were originally Gold Key, and I guess Dynamite got that license, and they're putting out. Mark Waid's going to be writing Dr.
Well, Dark
Spider
Horse
soon.
had it for sure.
Yeah.
And they printed all the archives and stuff really fast.
Yeah.
Have you guys checked out any of those?
No.
Not yet.
The field was pretty cool today. The field was a cool idea. Did anyone
I read The Field. I thought it was alright. I really liked the beginning. I'm not sure about the rest of it. I want to see where it goes though. We can have a strong
Well, no.
beginning and not end well.
I thought it'd stay consistent because no one knows what the fuck's happening, and that was the point of
I'm
it.
curious. I thought it could have been a little stronger.
I read The Veil #1
It
and
felt
2
like-
today. That was very bizarre.
The Veil one was cool. I'm excited to read the second one. It was a little weird. Ruckus gets a little weird most of the time.
I didn't read the only #1 I read today was Aquaman and the Others.
What was that? It was cool.
It was cool. You know, it wasn't as good as the core series.
Who was complaining about the team before? Someone was complaining about like the
Renee.
team and the others. Yeah. And that was the worst argument I fucking heard. The name.
The name sounds terrible. It's like Batman and the Outsiders, because that's, barely
Yeah.
original. I'm like,
Blackhawks.
Well, I mean, they're brand new characters. And,
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
Jeff Johns created them.
But he's not writing them, so.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I actually saw that. It wasn't right.
Well, no, that's kind of the dream. Hey, I create characters.
Character?
You write about them, I get royalties.
I
Yeah.
think it's a tough sell though to have 2 Aquaman books.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know,
oh,
I
we'll see.
don't. I think Aquaman is great. I think
Yeah.
it's
If they're both
one of
good,
the
it doesn't
better
turn
New
into a hard
52
sell.
Yeah.
original New 52
I think the trick
titles.
is to make them unique and different.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, if they're not just sister books, but they actually have completely different
this
paths.
book's not gonna last 10 issues. I guarantee you. Throwing that out there.
Well, at least.
I mean, it would be nice to have a sister book to a character other than Superman, Batman.
Yes.
Well, it's going to probably come out faster and longer than Inhuman is because who's on the art?
Yeah.
Joe Madureira is doing the art of Inhuman to me, and all of us are going to enjoy all 3 issues we get in the next 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, have any of you guys read Inhuman?
I liked it.
I read the first couple pages and I dug it.
Who's writing it?
Charles Soule.
Okay, well there you go. That's great writing.
Yeah.
There was a Marvel series I wanted to read, but you've been missing *1 for a while.
What's that?
Did you get She-Hulk in today?
We have a bunch of #1s and
Yeah, the new
Okay.
second printing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Why
read
that?
it.
Because I saw Charles Soule was writing it, and the description looked cool.
So did you read Inhuman today?
I haven't read anything. From
He
that.
got here late.
Okay.
It's his fault.
Oh, see, he's picking. He look like he's sticking up for you, Ed.
Thank you.
I'm curious what Fraction's original idea was that they wouldn't let him go through with it.
I'm curious to know if Joe Madureira drew it because he was prepared for Fraction, and then they switched writers, and
There was also there was a big delay.
but like the cover state. I wonder if Charles Soule therefore had to look at the art and then decipher how he's
I
going to write
don't
it.
think much was on paper yet when they
I
changed
mean,
everything around.
I'm going to say that any book that Joe Mad is a part of, I'm pretty sure the delay is Joe.
It's like, wait,
This-
all this
this-
time
this had
you
a
only
realistic
drew
reason.
3 pages?
This had a realistic reason because Fraction.
I was gonna say, Forever Evil has been delayed a lot. I think that's David Finch because
he's not drawing Nightwing.
Was
I
Superman?
don't know. I think maybe DC painted themselves into a corner.
Superman.
We have a
Unchanged?
Nightwing ongoing series that's doing kind of well, and we're
Canceling it.
killing Nick. What are we gonna do?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Was Superman Unchained? Was 8 and 9 supposed to be the last issue? 8 and 9 have been canceled, and they said that they'll be resolicited eventually.
No,
that's Jim Lee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
What
All-star Batman and Robin. Jim Lee and Frank Miller. Oh my God.
They're still waiting on 11
should,
and
it should have been titled "This Book Will Be Delayed."
Well, it's like the Sandman Overture. They've announced that it's not even going to be bi-monthly anymore. The schedule's going to be whatever.
See, that's why I like Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith was like, I'm gonna do Razzle. Hey everybody, from issue 1, it's coming out 4 fucking times a year. Deal with me.
Yeah.
And I went, you told me from the beginning I have 4 issues a year.
Yeah.
I can deal with a 5-month wait, like
Yeah.
a 4-month wait, because you told me. If they just came out and went, listen, 3 months, everything's gonna things are gonna work, okay.
Yeah.
But I found the fact that DC's giant continuity story had to get packed.
I gotta tell you though, like I almost wonder,
Communicate.
what?
I'm just mumbling about Forever Evil. It's like the book's getting pushed back in the fucking can.
But
Yeah.
Don't print
Well,
issue 1 until
even
5's in
right-
my hands.
I'm sorry.
I'm done.
No, well, there was a customer today who pointed out the world's finest Batman and Superman story arc, First Contact, and they're like, "Where's Part 3? You're missing Part 3."
Yeah, it hasn't
and I
come out
looked it
yet.
up, and Part 4
And
came
actually,
out
actually.
in World's Finest, but Part 3 comes out April 26th in Batman and Superman #9.
Yeah.
So, the customer was like, "I can't even read the newest issue of World's Finest for that. Now they have to wait a month."
Well, I mean, I seem to remember Transformers issues being delayed when Jay Lee
Yeah.
was an artist on that. So, you know, I mean, if you're a bit of a learned comic book fan, you know that certain artists, certain creators are always going to make your book slate. And you see books solicited, and you get excited that you see Jim Lee. You get excited that you see Joe Mad. But you know it's going to be delayed. Like, if you see Kevin Smith as a writer, it's going to be fucking delayed.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing. You know, I don't understand why certain companies. I mean, I can see why they won't say no to these guys, but if certain creators want to be involved in a certain project, that these companies don't say no, because inevitably it's either going to be canceled or.
Well, when the New 52
People stop
started, DC I think was pretty good at giving those artists enough break time that they had to fill in for like a month or two. Like Cliff Chang, I think did, you know, he basically did like four on and one off for like the first year or two of Wonder Woman.
But you should be able to just do your run.
Yeah.
How many? And this is a dumb example, but how many pages did Kirby pump out?
Yeah.
How many books did one fucking man write
Right.
in Raw?
I mean, you know,
And I understand I'm talking the king of comics, but and this goes for every company. I don't understand how, like, I understand the talent level brings Joe Mad and Frank Cho work, but how long was Frank Cho in Savage Wolverine? Then we had to wait 2 months, and then Joe Mad took over,
Yeah.
and then we had to wait, and then someone else took over, and it's actually coming out.
you know, it's just
Like, it's just, you literally went from artist you know is going to be late to artist you know is going to be late to let's give the guys that no one really knows the chance, and it's going to come out on time because they actually want to do that fucking work.
yeah.
Like Batman, Superman.
But you know, I mean, honestly, you know, in the long run, who loses out? The fans and the retailers. You know,
It's hard to keep that buzz going for.
yeah, of course. You know, it's hard to keep people excited about a book that, you know, number one came out. You sold out of number one. They do a second printing, and you pump out the second printing to other people. You know, doing your job as a retailer. And where's issue 2? Where's issue 3? And you know, we're the front line. And I think the thing that a lot of these companies seem to forget is that
It's
people
us.
come to us like we're the ones publishing the fucking books. Like, hey, where the fuck is issue 2? You know, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. You know, and there's no answers. There's, you know, like we as retailers, we go on Diamond and see what the late, you know, what the what is it again?
dates?
Yeah, the changing date. You know.
Yeah.
But there's no explanation, you know.
Well, people always think that we have that like extra secret
No.
book that we know stuff. And I don't know if we brought this up last week. The whole thing with Survive
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah.
Diamond.
I
We
think-
did bring
I
that
think
up.
you did.
That Tiger called me over and was like, "What is this?" And it was literally, we're ordering a book. We're ordering a comic book that we need to sell, and there's a black picture with no fucking words.
You know,
But we
I-
can go on news sites and find information.
But I love too that certain creators, somebody who's writing a book or somebody's drawing a book, or maybe an editor says, you know, will tweet out, "Hey retailers, you really need to order more of
Yeah.
Survive," you know, or whatever
You
book.
saw that email that they did?
Not for nothing. I would have, you know, it's.
If I knew.
If I knew what it was,
It's-
but then at
it's-
the same time, there's so many retailers who buy into that and maybe order 100 more copies, and then maybe you go to order more and it's on
They're not
back
there.
order.
It was the problem we had with Batman Inc. number 8,
Yeah.
where we had no idea that a
major-
major event was about to happen. It wasn't solicited at all,
Right.
and then we were completely shorted.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of people were angry with you.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
They do get angry at us.
I
No, because I think everyone was calling in on like Tuesday or
Yeah,
Wednesday
he
telling
was-
you to put it in their bag,
Oh.
and we're like, we don't have any more.
See, but that's a problem that I can dig though that companies have, because there's, especially with now getting Tuesday deliveries,
Yeah.
there's a lot of assholes who do, you know,
Wait.
dump spoilers on the internet about stuff, or you know, more information. I mean, it would be great if there was some sort of network that retailers can go to and preview certain books, maybe signing a disclosure agreement, and we know how many we need to order, but you know, it doesn't exist.
Can you imagine if we could read a number 1 from Image before it came out? Or number
Great.
1 from Marvel? Anything?
Yeah. I mean, they used to be preview packs where we
I remember.
actually get the book.
You have 5
I
or 6
remember
books from
that,
each
yeah.
company.
Well, no, it costs them too much money to send
Yeah.
out preview packs. You know.
I think you would think with digital that would be a lot easier now.
I thought for a short time that, oh, okay, well, they'll do digital preview packs, but no.
Yes, I know. At the same time.
What we get to preview, honestly, is Image will say, Shutter. Here's a 5-page preview in previews.
Yeah.
The same thing that customers are going to see. We don't see it a day early. We see it, probably after the customers because we're too busy selling the fucking magazine to sit down and flip through it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. At least
there's got to be a better way. There's got to be.
The only information I think that we know beyond customers is how much things cost.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think that's literally all we have, like on the edge of.
But even that
about
we
people.
don't. If you look at previews and you got
Oh, no.
the
PI.
PIs, please inquire.
Oh yeah.
One of us grabbing a calculator and looking online and search.
Yeah.
And one of the things I hate though is when like all of a sudden a book is big day of and we don't have enough for
Yeah.
everyone, and instantly it's purple and diamond and we can't order anymore.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
mean,
okay, you guys ran out.
you really need to have a crystal ball as a retailer, and you'll hear people argue, well, certain, say like, I don't know, Midtown doesn't sell. Well, Midtown makes a lot of money, it's a great comic shop. They've got the money to order, 1,000 copies.
Yeah, and they're in the biggest city in the world, and they have people.
Well,
they have
but
constant
they
foot
also
traffic,
have the
so-
biggest mail order business in the world, so they can afford to get the overflow and speculate a little bit more.
Yeah.
I would like to believe that they don't get inside information. I'm not sure if that's absolutely true, but I would like to believe that. But it's it's a tough gig, and Tiger does a great job by trying to look at history and whatnot, and make a put together a hypothesis of what we
Best
should
judgment.
order, but
Sometimes it works, sometimes it
Yeah,
doesn't.
it
Sometimes
just-
we end up with an extra 50 copies of a book.
Too many titles every month. You can't get it all
It's
right.
the hardest thing to be perfect at.
and absolutely, when you make a mistake, that blows up in your face, because that's people looking for something as opposed to having too many on the shelf where we internally.
I remember that there was a
Cry.
point where
Yeah.
there was a point where it looked like you had about 100 extra copies of Astonishing X-Men Wedding.
Oh yeah.
Because we saw first Gay Wedding,
Yeah.
honestly, and there was nothing that wasn't pointing to what we
That
thought.
book was on the View.
But no. Something else happened with that. If I remember correctly, I mean, like that was kind of a late solicit.
it was
Kind of a late solicit, and a lot of people were asking for it, and we had the opportunity. I think, if I'm right, Tiger, we had the opportunity to get it, and it came out one week, and then we got the other ones later.
Yeah.
No, we got them. No, we got them all the same week, but there was the issue.
I thought there was the
People were
Wedding
looking
album
for-
one that
No,
we
it
ordered a
was-
bunch of that came like a
the
week
same
later.
issue. There was the buzz for it came before the book was released, and then people that were looking for it before it came out, and then when it came out, no one gave a shit.
Right.
I know one book that blew up in our face was Avengers, for the Marvel Now Avengers #2. They didn't send us
yeah.
the right amount for the first printing, and then we had to wait till the second printing. When we got the second printing, we ordered the same amount. People already picked up their issue 2s
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Yeah, but that was taken care of with them. So.
Yeah, Marvel's also done double shipping on some random things, but that's not us ordering too much. I remember there was one Mighty Avengers issue that all of us read back to forwards looking for the misprint, and we had they sent us the exact amount we already ordered again the next week because there was a misprint.
Yeah.
So it was like, you guys ordered 95 copies, here's another 95 copies of the book you already sold.
Right.
Give them away.
We have a soccer topic?
No.
What the fuck? Beginning of the podcast was I have nothing
I
written.
said that I didn't.
Okay. All right. Fine.
I get high and I remember things, Edward.
Let's go to commercial.